me, Pete.
Oh, well, it was my fault, dear. I kidnapped him. I sometimes do that with attractive young men.
Hey, where's Liz?
Oh, she went to a counselor's conference.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Good morning. I want to thank you all for coming here this morning, especially since it was voluntary. I'll get right to the point. As some of you know, Whitman High is cooperating with the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health in launching a really serious campaign against the #1 teenage health problem today, venereal disease. Now, we need teachers. It's as simple as that. I might as well give you the rough part first. Those who are interested would have to attend a seminar this weekend where you'll be given special materials, techniques of instruction. Miss Johnson?
Where will the seminar be held, Mr. Kaufman?
Well, I'd like to say Hawaii with all expenses paid, but it's Anaheim. Mr. Gerard.
Mr. Kaufman, say we give up a weekend and go to this seminar. Is it going to do any good? Well, I mean, other schools have tried to start these classes, but there's so much red tape involved.
Then we're just going to have to cut through the red tape, Mr. Gerard. 1 out of 5 graduating seniors in Los Angeles County has some form of venereal disease.
1 out of 5?
The national figure is 1 out of 10 youngsters between the ages of 15 and 24 will contract venereal disease this year.
Wow, that's really shocking. Are you going to go?
Oh, well, I'd like to, but I promised to help my mother move this weekend.
What we're asking of you is this weekend plus 3 hours a week for the next several months. I know that's rough, but on the other side of the ledger, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you're helping to fight against a terrible disease. Any volunteers?
I'll go. Well, what's the matter with the rest of you? Didn't you hear Mr. Kaufman? 1 out of 5 children in this county is sick. Now, if he were talking about polio and you could do something to prevent it, you'd all be raising your hands, wouldn't you? Well, that's better. Miss Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Miss Huggins.
This respect for the individual in democracy lay at the roots of the reform movement, which you have read about in this chapter.
You mean you have read about in this chapter?
I beg your pardon. Jason?
Well, what he's trying to say is that Mr. Dixon usually lets us rap about the material in the book, Mr. Gerard.
Mr. Gerard?
Yes, Kim?
Well, you said Mr. Dixon was attending a conference, but you didn't say how long he'd be gone. Well, we were just wondering when...
When you can start rapping again.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
What kind of a conference is it?
Venereal disease, actually. Whitman High will be offering classes in how to prevent any such occurrence occurring. Mr. Dixon will be back tomorrow.
Hey, Joe Bob. Hey, did you bring your guitar today?
Yep. Good, because I wanted you to teach me the chords to that thing you were playing the other day, okay?
Sure doesn't talk much, does he?
Nope.
Cindy!
Oh, hi, Joe Bob.
Could I see you a minute?
Sure.
You know, I was telling you how I was doing some whittling. And, well, I just thought you might like this little bird here.
Gee, that's very sweet of you, Joe Bob. What kind of bird is this exactly? I mean, it looks like a...
That's a chicken. Can you tell that?
Well, I haven't seen a whole lot of them.
Would you like to go to the movies tonight?
I can't tonight. But I'll tell you what. if you can get tickets for that rock concert Thursday night, maybe I can make it.
Well, right, fine then. Okay. That's a deal now.
Now, what I'm going to require of you in this composition is more than just grammar and punctuation and spelling. I want to see the inside of your heads. I want to share your fantasies with you. In short, don't be afraid to use your imaginations. Keiko, in your case, perhaps a little less imagination and a little more attention to the proper use of the subjunctive clause.
Gotcha, Miss Huggins.
Oh, Joe Bob, would you help me here a minute?
Be a pleasure, ma'am.
I thought if you put this box up on the desk, I'd put some of the posters up. Thank you. Joe Bob?
Yes, ma'am. You suppose I could have some of them pamphlets for a friend of mine?
Of course you can. Your friend going to sign up for the clinic?
No, ma'am. He'd like to, but his daddy, my friend's daddy, sure wouldn't go for it.
I see. Joe Bob? Have your friend read these and tell him to see this doctor right away, just in case.
Well, ma'am, I don't know about that.
Well, it's a free clinic, Joe Bob. Parents don't have to be notified. That's the law.
Well, I sure will tell him. Much obliged.
I mean, here we are, educators in the middle of an epidemic. And, well, we discover, or at least I did anyway, that I know hardly anything about the subject.
I'll second that. Did you know that a woman may have gonorrhea for years, pass it on to other people, and never even know she has it?
No, as a matter of fact, I didn't.
The symptoms are slight and they pass in a few days. Only a blood test will reveal the infection.
And yet this disease, easily cured by penicillin, has made more people blind than any other disease except trachoma. And it's all totally preventable.
Just by getting more information around.
Which is more easily said than done.
Yes, that's what I meant about red tape.
I'm glad you're here, Jerry. You can help.
Oh, certainly, Mr. Kaufman. I'm always happy to help. Doing what?
Oh, probably stuffing envelopes. Pete, you're in charge of getting the notices out.
What notices?
Notices to the parents. Well, there goes 2 weeks before we can even get started.
Better make that 3 weeks, because by the time the notices have been signed and returned, and you've heard from all the parents who want to see your material, it'll take longer than you think.
Will someone tell me what you're talking about?
What we're talking about is the section of the educational code which says that parents have to be notified in writing before their kids can come to a class in which human reproduction is mentioned.
Human reproduction? Well, yes, I see that, but what has that got to do with VD?
It's a different subject with a different approach, but the law says we need parental consent to talk about it.
Also, all the written material and the visual aids that you're going to use in the course have to be made available to the parents for their inspection before the class starts.
To my mind, it's a tragedy.
Miss Huggins, I don't think that everything that's in here is just right. You know what I mean?
No, I don't, Joe Bob. Tell me.
This ain't the kind of thing a fellow likes to talk about with a woman.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Joe Bob, pretend I'm your old grandma and let's get on with it.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it says here that a person can only catch the disease from being intimate with someone who's got it.
Oh, that is correct.
But that ain't the way I heard it, I tell you. The girl I love and me never did nothing before. Now, how do you explain that?
Well, it may take a while. Sit down, Joe Bob.
Mr. Tully found this VD literature in his son's car. Did you give it to him?
Of course I did.
Of course you did. And did you also have a few impromptu classes with the boy?
You're darn tootin'. I don't know what's been going on in that boy's home life, but certainly the facts of life have not been included in the curriculum.
I'm afraid they're not fully included in ours either, Miss Huggins.
Well, you know what I meant by that, Mr. Kaufman. The boy was sick, and he didn't know what in the world was wrong with him, nor could he possibly imagine how he got that way.
Look, Miss Huggins, I'm on your side 100%. I know you tried to help, but you know we have to have signed parental consent.
So we're in hot water, huh?
I'm afraid so. Mr. Tully called his minister, who called his lawyer. He feels you've violated the law. They've filed charges against you with the State Board of Education.
Mr. Kaufman, I am always prepared to answer for the consequences of my actions, although they sometimes surprise me. So, if I am called to appear, I will answer the charges in detail.
Well, if it's any consolation, I'll be there too, okay?
So will I. I don't like the law any better than you do. Vivian, you understand that until the law is changed, we're just stuck with the responsibility of upholding it. Let me ask you something. Since you've established this relationship with the boy, do you suppose you could possibly get him to reveal his contact?
You see, the public health officer was here. And I don't have to tell you how important it is to let the girl know so she can get treatment.
No, you don't have to tell me. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
I don't believe what you people are telling me. What's the worst thing that could happen if the state board does decide to take action?
She could lose her certification to teach permanently.
That woman has devoted her entire life to teaching. She never wanted to stop. She just wanted to go on substituting till she was like 100 or something. If they put her out to pasture for the rest of her life, it would kill her. Just because of one little mistake? Well, this is just not fair. Excuse me. What for? We all feel the same way. You just said it.
I'm sorry if what I have to say hurts you. Keeping silent the name of a girl who has a disease and needs treatment is not helping her.
No, ma'am. You're not going to snooker me that way. I learned lots of things different since my daddy and me left Manassas. I guess I've been sort of a figure of fun to some people. But there's one thing ain't nobody gonna tell me is right when I know it's wrong. You don't go shooting your mouth off about a lady, even if she ain't.
You can relax, Joe Bob. Someone else mentioned her name. She's been very cooperative.
Yeah. I bet she has. Excuse me.
I sure wish I could help him.
So do I. Right now, I would prefer you to be thinking about yourself. The Board of Education just called me. There's a preliminary hearing set for you at 1 o'clock downtown on Monday.
You know something? I'm just mad enough to be ready for a good fight.
Miss Huggins?
Yes, sir?
You've heard the charges read against you, which maintain that you willfully and deliberately violated Section 8506 of the California Educational Code. We're prepared to hear your statement now.
Well, that's very kind of you, I'm sure. Well, since the law which I'm accused of violating became effective 2 years ago, I find that only 1% of the parents in other districts objected. This obviously shows overwhelming approval, but it also shows us something a little sad. 115,000 cases of VD among high school kids were reported last year, and assume 1% of the parents refused permission for their child to receive education this year, we may then assume at least 1,150 young people may contact VD needlessly next year. I find that puzzling. We have a law in this state, and in many other states too, which says that a young person ill with VD can receive treatment without his parents being notified. But he can't receive VD education, so he won't need treatment in the same fashion. Seems all turned around to me. So, after 40 years, I've finally broken a rule. I never did before. I didn't mean to break this one, but a boy called out for help and I answered. I'm sorry. It is not a good rule.
I have sat here just about long enough. Is it my turn to talk yet?
Are you finished, Miss Huggins?
I'll yield to Mr. Tully.
Well, I don't know how things are where you people come from. But I'll tell you what I believe. There ain't no school anywhere fit to teach the kind of things you're talking about. A boy wants to know about that kind of stuff, he asks his daddy. And you have no right to take my place. And I don't need your help to do my job. Kind of stuff you're talking about belongs in the home. And I didn't send my boy to school to get no sex education.
May I speak to that point, please?
Very well, Mr. Dixon.
Mr. Tully, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't mean about your right as a parent, but VD education is not sex education. It's education designed to prevent a serious and crippling disease. And it belongs in a course relating to other communicable diseases such as TB, typhoid, and polio. We don't need to make moral judgments, and we shouldn't. We don't want to violate your right as a parent either. We're only trying to do a job that you've entrusted us with, and that is to teach.
I would like for the room to be cleared now so that the other members of the board and I can come to our decision.
Very good, Vivian. Very good.
Thank you. Good luck, Vivian. Thank you. I got my fingers crossed so tight I'm getting whiplash in my knuckles. Oh, I'm so nervous.
I've been speaking to my boy. He's mighty fond of you. Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't think you'd be so... Well, I thought you'd be one of them young upstart types. I'm sorry to cause you so much trouble, considering you're...
That I'm as old as the hills? Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Tully?
Well, I'll never believe what you did was right. But I can see you didn't mean no personal harm. So I wish you well.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I'm just as sorry as I can be, Miss Huggins.
I know you are, honey. Don't you worry about it.
It is the judgment of this committee that this case not be referred to the state board. There will be a fine. You will be notified in writing. And I would like your solemn promise that there will be no further violation of our existing code, no matter what any of us think of it. Agreed?
Wholeheartedly.
this the opportunity room?
Uh-huh. You're not Mrs. Banducci. How come?
Exiled again. Back to Siberia. Opportunity knocks, dummy.
Someone robbed my English.
Hey, we gonna get marked for opportunity. Hey, I gotta leave the room.
You just came in.
This is a free country, right?
No, not exactly.
Woo! We got us a right on system.
All right, everybody, simmer down. Take your seats. Let's see if we can't get something done. You kidding?
Something's done. Now, we don't do nothing. Not here.
You're supposed to leave us alone, and we won't bother you.
That's right. We're no good.
Oh. Now, you were sent here because you got into trouble with your subject teachers, and I would like to know what kind of trouble. Why were you sent here?
She insulted me.
For using obscene language in auditorium.
Man, you cussed in the auditorium. Man, shut up.
And you?
Oh, me and this young man, we had a little argument, you know.
For giving another student a bloody nose.
Oh, wow, for shame, man.
And what did you do?
Like in social studies, I was wondering if to choose between a pear shape or a square cut diamond my boyfriend wants to give me for my birthday.
Here we go again, folks.
He's also giving me a red Alvarado sports car.
Oh.
All right. Lack of attention span and non-reality oriented.
This is true.
What's your name?
Tamara.
Have a seat, Tamara. Next.
I burped too loud.
And the rest of you. Why are you here?
Chalk fight.
For reading my lunch in class. Big deal.
We're all socially maladjusted. That's why. Hey, how come you here?
Yeah, did you get thrown out of class too?
Are you a problem teacher?
She's not even a teacher, you dummy. She's a social worker or something.
No, I'm a teacher. I just specialize in counseling.
Are you here to shrink our heads or something?
I heard you the first time.
Well, I'm uncontrolled. Hey, where's Mrs. Banducci?
Oh, man, they just made her a warden of some prison farm or something.
All right, hold it down. Okay,
It says that I was cheating.
but you weren't.
Do you see that? She don't believe me neither.
I wonder why.
Well, I'd like to believe you.
Oh, yeah, that's what they all say.
Well, tell me what happened.
Well, I was talking to myself, and Bruckner thought that I was asking somebody else for the answer. I knew the answer.
Why were you talking to yourself, George?
I was telling myself what a jerk old Bruckner is. He doesn't like me to say it out loud.
What have you got against teachers, George?
Teachers. I love teachers. Greatest people on the face of the earth, teachers. Why, aren't you proud to be a member of such a great and glorious profession, Miss McIntyre?
As a matter of fact, I am.
You know, what I don't understand is why they call it the opportunity room.
Well, it used to be called the social adjustment room. You like that better? Well, you see, the kids are supposed to be given an opportunity to straighten themselves out.
It's tough. You get the kids for 50 minutes, and every one of them is hung up with some problem or another.
Yeah, you don't get to give any grades, so you got no leverage. Something happened. What happened?
Nothing.
Come on, Liz.
Let it all hang out.
Who was it?
Off the record,
Sure, off the record.
George Badgley,
Who sent him to see you?
Bill Bruckner.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Curly-headed kid. Lost his cool and blew up at Bill a couple of months ago. I remember that.
What happened?
He threw a book at Bill. Did he hit him?
No, but with that kind of a kid, you can never tell. He smiles one minute and goes wild the next.
Did he throw something at you? No. But he's got the nastiest grin. Oh, like he knows what you're thinking.
And if he gives you any trouble, you send him in to see me.
George will be all right.
It is not George I'm worried about.
No, I like school. I really do. It's the teachers that bug me. I'm going to start this movement called GROT. G-R-O-T. Get rid of teachers. Write box 214, Washington, D.C., and everybody send their contributions to the Opportunity Room. Give me that address again, will you?
All right, all right. Does anybody have any constructive suggestions? Like, what would you do if you were in charge of this school?
Well, I'd put a moratorium on all homework.
And a color TV in every room.
Yeah, and 6 months vacation with pay for all kids.
All right, get serious. Tamara?
If you're gonna get married, I don't know why you ought to have to stay in school.
Now she's getting married. Congratulations, babe.
Let's try something.
Now what?
Pass the paper back. Put your name, your best subject, and your worst subject.
What's this for?
Well, I'm going to try to help George get rid of teachers. So we're going to try a little experiment. A skill swap. Students teaching students. If it works, we may be able to do away with teachers forever.
I can take that.
Alicia, you speak Spanish, so put that down.
Can I swap Spanish for touching toes and gym?
Hey, I'm great in lunch.
I'm fantastic in weightlifting.
Yeah, well, then we'll give you all the heavy problems.
Funny.
I'll swap music for help in bio.
Tamara, what skill do you want to swap?
I don't know.
What was your highest grade last semester?
B+ in art.
Well, put that down. Now try to find somebody to help you with your worst subject, and I'll come around to check.
I got all worst subjects. I'll help any good-looking chick in anything. Hey,
What about you, George?
No, I'm not good at anything. According to Bruckner, that is.
Why'd he send you down this time?
We had a test. I passed it, but he failed me.
Why'd he do that?
He has to have some fun, doesn't he? He works long, tedious hours for little reward. Failing me is like a Christmas bonus for old Bruckner.
Why did he fail you?
Same reason. I was cheating, he said.
Well, why did he think you were cheating this time?
I had my math book open on my desk.
Well, didn't you realize that having your book open during a test would naturally make Mr. Bruckner think you were cheating?
Well, he doesn't need any excuses.
Okay, George. But like I said, if you want help, I'll try to give it to you.
Why? I mean, why do you want to help me?
You figure it out. Bill, do you have some time?
Sure, about a minute and a half before my next class.
Bill, I've been rotated to the Opportunity Room, and
Good luck.
I have one of your algebra students, George Badgley.
George Badgley. That's a bad news kid from head to toe. You know, the weird thing is he's actually pretty good in algebra, but he bends himself way out of shape to antagonize me. And evidently, he's done the same thing in his other classes.
If he flunks math, he won't be able to graduate, you know.
I've tried with that boy, believe me. But I'm not a psychologist. I get paid for teaching math.
Well, maybe if you had a talk with him, gave him some extra time.
Memo to all teachers. Please send list of unassigned lockers to office before 3 today. Requisition slips in triplicate due this morning. Age level reports due before 12. Collect all books for inventory. If I gave him a little extra time. Extra time. What's that?
I knew it. I just knew it.
What?
You and old Bruckner in there, ganging up on poor little Georgie.
I was trying to clear up the misunderstanding between you two.
Tell me, Miss McIntyre, do you believe me when I say that I wasn't cheating?
Yeah, I believe you.
How come? How come you believe me? I mean, I could have been cheating. As a matter of fact, when I think about it, I was cheating.
George Badgley, you little...
There, you see? I knew it. I knew it all along. You really got it in for me, haven't you? As a matter of fact, you hate me, don't you?
Now it's your... Okay, now it's your turn to repeat it, okay? Okay. You can do it. I know you can do it.
News of bone.
Right.
Booze of day. Eels on.
Great! I told you you could get it.
Yeah, well, pretty soon I'm gonna have to start wearing a beret and eating garlic.
Okay. Then I got this Hollywood offer. But my boyfriend wants to take me to this Caribbean island his family practically owns.
You should tell great stories. You should be a writer.
I can't spell.
Well, that's what I'm gonna teach you.
George, Jerry's failing algebra. Why don't you help him?
Sorry, no can do.
Why not?
I'm afraid the teachers' union will get on my back.
I hoped if you started thinking about somebody else for a change, you'd stop feeling so sorry for yourself.
Great. Fantastic. Sigmund Freud hits Walt Whitman. Well, tell me some more about what's going on in the garbage pail of my mind, Miss Freud. I'm all ears.
I don't know what you're trying to do, but you make everything so hard for yourself. You're turning your back on an opportunity.
An opportunity for what? For Hank to teach me spelling or Laura to teach me maps? You gotta be kidding. The only map I need is the one that shows me how to get out of here. I'll see you around campus.
Don't sweat it, Miss McIntyre. Can't win them all.
You think you might find something in this permanent record that might help?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder whether any of this means anything at all. Environmental factors, socioeconomic factors, non-academic minded.
Non-academic minded. What does that mean?
A delinquent. Let me see. We know he's good in algebra. Does he have any strengths or interests that you can work on? If he ever comes back, that is.
Insolent, obscene language, disruptive conduct.
If it only said latent leader.
Or a very high underachiever.
Arrogant, seems to think he should run the class.
Hi, Miss McIntyre.
Hello. Oh, Tamara, by the way, that was a fine drawing you did for Hank.
Was it really? You mean you really liked it?
Of course. Why, don't you believe me?
Well, I don't know.
It's hard for you to believe you do anything well, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Well, take my word for it. It's a fine drawing, and I'm sure Hank really appreciated it, too.
I'm glad.
Tamara, do you happen to know where I might find George Badgley?
I don't know. Oh, is he in trouble again?
No, he ran out of school, and I just wanted to speak to him.
I don't know for sure. Maybe the taco stand. He's there sometimes on my way home from school.
Okay, thanks. Tamara, you draw beautifully.
Well, forget it, Liz. I'm dropping out, and that's that.
You mean copping out, don't you?
Clever, clever. I ain't so hot in my vocabulary.
Well, that must be because you've had such lousy teachers.
Now I know why you're here. You want to fail me in taco stand.
You're a coward, George. When things get difficult, you quit. You blame other people. Mr. Bruckner hates you. I hate you. Everybody hates George. So poor George hasn't got a chance. But if somebody does like you, you push them until they hate you too. So you still have your excuse for not trying.
You've really been thinking about me a lot, haven't you, Miss McIntyre?
Sure have.
Wondering what's going on in that spaced-out George Badgley's head. Well, you don't know anything, you big deal teacher.
You think you could do any better?
Anybody could.
I'm asking you. Could you do better than I do?
Yeah, sure, so what?
Prove it.
What do you mean, prove it? What are you talking about?
Come to school tomorrow and take over the class.
I could do anything I want? No matter what?
No matter what.
Okay. Maybe we should start with what qualities you feel would make a good teacher.
Well, if she's absent a lot.
Yeah, deaf, dumb, and blind.
Okay, cut it out.
You ask us for our opinions and we giving them to you.
Yeah, very funny. Anybody got a serious answer?
A teacher should be intelligent.
Well, that rules out more than half of them.
All right, let's put down intelligent. And who did that?
Did what?
You threw that, didn't you, Vic?
No.
Don't lie.
He didn't
Man,
do it.
I got a fever. I'd better go to the nurse.
I gotta go to my locker, man.
No, you don't. Neither one of you. I know all about that stuff. Now sit down.
Why don't you sit down and shut up?
Yeah.
Look, will you act your age? We're trying to have a discussion.
Louder.
Funnier.
Hiccup! Uh-oh. I have got the hiccups. You know, all my life I've been trying to catch him, and hiccup, I have finally caught the hiccup.
All right. You don't quit, huh?
Oh, what you gonna do, man? Send me to the opportunity room? I'm already there.
What are the qualities? What's the role of a teacher?
I gotta go. My fever's getting worse. I'm delirious.
I gotta sharpen my pencil, man.
I said cut it out. Now sit down.
I gotta go, just for the heck of it.
I don't got to go, but I'm going anyway.
All right, quiet down. You two, sit down and shut up.
You've got a piercing voice, teacher.
What is going on here? Oh, I get it. This is your idea, isn't it, Miss McIntyre? You told him to do this, so I'd wind up looking like a fool.
Since when do we do what a teacher says to do?
That's a terrible thing you just said, George. Miss McIntyre wouldn't do a thing like that. Don't you know that?
You. What do you know? You're so spaced out you don't even know your own name. Tamara. Everybody knows your real name is Gussie Huffner. And all that junk about your boyfriend.
George.
You don't even have a boyfriend. You're too skinny and ugly to have a boyfriend. You're just a liar.
George, that's enough.
That's okay, Miss McIntyre. I know I tell stories a lot, George. But at least I don't hurt anybody. Except maybe myself. But you lie, too. You tell yourself that everyone hates you. But that's not true. I like you, George. And I thought you'd do pretty good as a teacher up there. But I guess you got scared when things didn't look like they were going too well, huh? So you had to start blaming everybody, right, George? I know how it is. Because I get scared a lot, too.
There's not much time left in the period, so why don't we get together with our partners?
Mr. McIntyre, can we continue this discussion?
Yeah, it's great to say in public what we always say in private.
Maybe we can give some real suggestions this time.
All right.
Miss McIntyre,
Yes, George.
can I say something? Gussie, Tamara, whatever you want to be called. I just wanted to say that, well, all that stuff they said, most of that stuff that you said was true. Almost all of it, as a matter of fact. And that's all. Except that you're not too skinny or ugly to have a boyfriend. I just said that because...
Because you're mean.
Yeah, that's right, Miss McIntyre, because I'm mean.
All right. You think you're mean enough to carry on as teacher until the bell?
Okay. What about some good qualities?
She should greet us with a smile.
Yes, you should have patience.
Right.
She should truly believe what she's teaching.
Yeah, and trust the students.
And be a friend.
Do you know that attendance in the opportunity room has been cut in half since Miss Banducci came back to take over?
Really? How come?
Well, a lot of kids were purposely getting booted out of their classes just so they could be with you.
You were making the opportunity room their favorite subject.
Well, it was getting to be mine, too.
Well, don't worry about it, because believe me, your good work has not gone unnoticed. We have plans for you.
Oh?
Oh, yeah. Did you know that we were going to create a greater opportunity room?
A greater opportunity room?
For those kids who couldn't come up to the high behavioral standards of the opportunity room. But we shelved that idea.
Oh, what happened?
Well, we decided it would be wasteful and unnecessary. You see, instead of starting a whole new classroom with all the problems that entails, we decided that we would just take all the difficult, unbelievably impossible kids and send them straight to you. What do you think of that?
Should I tell him?
Do you want an honest answer?
Yeah.
No. Guy comes right out of practice, changes his clothes, and goes home. You mean he never takes a shower?
Not that I ever saw.
Probably figures if he's too clean, he ain't sincere.
At ease, at ease.
Now that's too clean.
Can I help you?
I have an appointment with Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, well, you go right down this hall and turn to...
I know.
All right, so she wanted to get married. That's okay, but couldn't she give me notice and then elope? Well, keep looking for a substitute. Right. Oh, hey, I think I'll ask Alice Johnson if she knows anything about home ec. Yeah, well, I doubt it too, but I'll ask her. Right, okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. Sometimes things pile up around here.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, where were we? The injury, how'd you get it, shrapnel?
No, baseball. We had games between the outfits.
Oh. I'm trying to remember if you played baseball when you were a student at Whitman.
No, sir, I didn't. I guess I just didn't have the confidence, but I filled out some of the Marines. Anyway, the knee problem isn't serious, but it was bad enough to get me a medical discharge. So, I thought I'd like to come back and finish my senior year. That is, if that's okay.
How old are you?
19, just a couple months ago.
Well, sure, you can finish up at Whitman, but don't you think you'd be a little better off in adult night classes?
Night classes?
Sure, I mean, after 2 years in the service, you might be a little bit uncomfortable as a regular high school student.
Oh, no. No, I've been thinking about it a lot. I want to come back to Whitman.
Well, okay. Just fill out the forms and welcome back.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. You don't know how I've been looking forward to this.
But my uncle still hates the Germans and the Japanese. And the war's been over for 25 years.
I know. But that's because the newspapers, the radio, newsreels, movies, all show the Japanese and the Germans as evil people. Unfortunately, many people still think of them that same way.
You mean the movies were propaganda too, Mr. Dixon?
Sure. You know, movies can be a very effective means of making people think a certain way.
What about the TV? Every night you see a war coming from somewhere, Vietnam or the Middle East. But you don't think of those people you see as good guys and bad guys, like in those old movies. You just see poor people suffering.
That's true, Valerie. Mass communication has also taken a lot of the glory out of war and taught us a little bit about how other people live.
Do you think mass communication will ever help us to prevent war and distrust?
Well, what do you all think? Monty?
I don't know if this answers the question, but it happened to me.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just a kid when I joined the service.
Oh, just a kid? That's like us.
I guess some of you didn't know that I spent over a year in Vietnam with the Marines.
I got a cousin Joe in the Marines. Do you know him?
That's enough, Paul.
Well, anyway, I went to Japan once on an R&R, and that's rest and rehabilitation.
Oh, I thought that was Roy and Rogers.
All right, let's listen to what Monty has to say. We might get something out of it. Go ahead, Monty.
Well, it's really nothing, except I had a lot of crazy ideas about what Japan would be like. But when I got there, I...
Hold it. Monty?
No, that's all right. Forget it.
Okay. Read chapter 9 and we'll continue tomorrow.
Well, that was like old times.
What do you mean?
You know, making a jerk out of myself.
I wouldn't take it too seriously.
You know, I changed since I left Whitman.
Well, I'm sure you have. After spending a couple of years in the Marines, you're bound to think differently than any of the kids here.
Yeah. I used to be just a skinny little jerk that nobody noticed. Just one of the creeps hanging around waiting for one of the big shots to say hello. I didn't have a date the whole time I was here.
Is that why you quit school?
Sure. Seemed to me like everybody else was having a good time except me. It was really crummy to go from class to class every day without being noticed.
Is it so important to you to be noticed, Monty?
Are you kidding? I thought about it the whole time I was in the service. You know, I'd say to myself when things would get tough, I'd say, hang in there, Monty. When you get out and you go back to Whitman, you're going to be somebody. Somebody that the other kids look up to.
Tell me something, Monty. If the kids didn't look up to you when you were here before, what makes you think they're going to look up to you now?
Well, because I'm different. I'm older. I was afraid to go out for baseball when I was here, but I played in the service and played real good. I can't miss making the team here. I'm going to be somebody this time around, Mr. Dixon. You just watch me.
Now, usually when I substitute in a class, I play it very open and honest. In class, I say, I don't know any more about this subject than you do, so let's get out our books and learn together. And you know what usually happens?
What?
They walk all over me. No, it's terrible. But this time, in home economics, I decided to try something new. I pretended I knew all about cooking, and it worked. They really thought I could cook.
Really? What'd your class make?
Oh, this fantastic banana skin pie.
Banana skin?
Sure. Don't you know all the vitamins are in the skin?
Isn't that something? And I've been throwing them away all my life, like a fool.
You know, you've been eating lunch in your office so much that I've forgotten what you look like.
Well, feast your eyes. It's the only feast you're going to get in this place.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. What do you know about Monty Harris?
The kid that used to be in the Marines? Not much. Why? Something wrong?
Well, he's got this idea that he's going to be an important man around Whitman. And that he was a nobody when he was here before, but this year is going to be different.
Well, I've had a few of those fantasies myself. You know, if I could see her again with what I know now, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think we do.
I don't.
Well, at least you didn't try to act your fantasies out, you know, make them come true. I have a feeling that's what Monty's trying to do.
They could be in for a big disappointment.
Hey, Captain.
It was Corporal.
That's okay. I talked to enlisted men, too. Sit down. Ah, the Daily Summit Conference.
They're the big deals, huh?
They think so.
That's funny. When I was here before, they used to group around over there, too.
Yes. From semesters immemorial, Whitman aristocracy have rallied round the sundial. Well, it's the perfect spot, really. Distant yet conspicuous. One can only stare and wonder at the awesome wit, the lofty dialogues taking place right now and in the past. If that sundial had ears and could but speak.
You sound jealous.
No, sir, Corporal. Maybe you're jealous. I'm reading.
Well, look, I seen this out-of-sight poster. I mean, it is out of sight. You just gotta see it.
How far is the bookstore?
Just about 2 blocks.
Oh, come on, we got down that shit.
Hi. What's happening?
Not too much.
Well, I don't know many people yet. The guys that I knew all graduated.
Oh, yeah, you spent all that time in the Marines, right?
Yeah, I'm Monty Harris.
Rudy and Paul.
I'm Ed.
I'm Suzanne Kovac.
I know.
How's it feel being back in school, Monty?
Groovy.
Oh, yeah, groovy. Well, look, Monty, we were just going someplace. We'll see you later, huh?
Mind if I come along?
I'm sorry, it's impossible.
How come?
Well, that's a military secret. Right, guys? Yeah. We'll see you.
Can I talk to you a minute?
Sure, I'll catch up.
What did I say wrong?
Oh, don't mind them. They pick up on anything. Groovy isn't used much anymore. I mean, not around here.
I see. Hey, where do you all hang out? I'd sure like to get back in the swing of things.
No place in particular.
Then maybe I could take you out sometime to a movie or something.
Oh, well, I don't think so.
Well, why not? You going with somebody?
Hey, Susie, you coming?
Be right there. Look, I don't think so.
Why? Do you think these guys are any better than me?
I just don't want to go out with you, okay? You really are pushy, you know that?
Groovy. Keen. Superb.
That guy's a
brag. He really is.
That's right, Jerry. The United States Congress did vote against the League of Nations.
But wasn't the League of Nations our idea?
Yes, it was. And it was a big defeat for President Wilson. Now, in what way do you think history might have changed if the United States had become a member of the League of Nations? Monty?
You got me, sir.
Ed?
Well, maybe Hitler wouldn't have started the Second World War.
It's a possibility. Or he could have been stopped after he militarized the Rhineland. There'll be a surprise test tomorrow, so you'd better crack some books tonight. Monty, can I see you a minute?
Yes, sir.
You've been kind of quiet lately. Is anything wrong?
No, sir, I don't think so. Actually, I think I've just been changing my tactics.
Oh.
Yeah, I was coming on pretty strong and putting everybody uptight, so I thought I'd just cool it. You know, take things a little easier.
Well, glad to hear it.
Don't worry, sir. Everything will be all right. But thank you for asking.
Hey, here we come. Hey, Monty. Listen, would you do us a big favor?
Sure, what is it?
Well, the guys and I have been talking, you know, about the draft. And one of these days we're gonna get called up. At least some of us.
So?
Well, we figured since you've been in already, you could give us some pointers.
Pointers, huh?
Yeah, like what to expect and all that.
Well, gee, I really don't know where to begin.
Well, Monty, why'd you join up in the first place? What a question. He doesn't like to see the little guy shoved around, right, Monty?
Well, to tell you the truth,
Hey, Monty, you think the Marines could make a man out of him?
Who wants to be a man? I like being a boy.
But boys don't get to wear uniforms, right? And go to Japan and...
Okay, that's enough.
Japan? Now that must have been groovy.
Yeah, real groovy.
I said that's enough.
Monty, Mr. Kaufman wants to see you right away.
In a minute.
No kidding, come on. Monty,
What does Kaufman want?
well, the thing is,
The thing is what?
he doesn't want to see you.
What is this?
Well, I saw what those creeps were doing, and I had to get you away from them.
You don't have to protect me.
I wasn't protecting you. I was protecting them. You were going to hit Ed.
Look, I know you're trying to help, but from now on, would you mind your own business?
I'm sorry, Monty. But you can't twist yourself out of shape trying to make people respect you. You can't force them to think that you're important.
That's what you think.
Yes, sir, Corporal, sir.
Right away.
Come on, Ed, that's 5 straight strikes. Dig in there and get a piece of it.
Wow, that new guy can really pitch. Yeah. Won't Mr. Kaufman be excited? You know, Whitman's needed a strong fireball and right-hander with pinpoint control for a long time. He's smart, too. Now, notice the way he moves the ball around the corner of the plate. He keeps them off balance. Just when they're expecting a fastball, letter high, he throws him a change-up low and away.
Alice Johnson, you've been holding out on me. You've been married to Sandy Koufax all this time, and you didn't tell anybody?
No. Actually, it's my dad. He's a baseball nut. He used to take me to baseball games before I could even walk. Yeah, the first present he ever gave me was a rattle shaped like a bat. Oh. Hey, Liz, do you think...
What?
That he might have wanted a boy?
Oh, no, I don't think so. No.
I'm not so sure. He still calls me Lefty.
Alice, I'm sure you didn't care whether you were a boy or a girl.
Are you?
Just as long as you could hit.
Okay, that's enough. Who's next? You, get up there. Come on, you guys are swinging like rusty gates. Harris, how's the arm?
Swell. I've been working out.
Okay, we don't want you to hurt yourself. Just pitch to one more batter.
Hi.
Hi.
How are we doing? Any new prospects?
Yeah, the kid on the mound. You better sign him fast, Mr. Kaufman, before Webster hears about him.
Really?
If Alice Johnson says he's good, he is good. Do you know him, Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, I do. Well, that's Monty Harris. That's the ex-Marine I was telling you about.
Ex-Marine?
Yeah, the one who wanted to be noticed so badly.
Well, looks like he's gonna get his wish.
Pete, did you say ex-Marine?
Sure.
Well, how old is he?
Okay, let's call it a day. Fellas, 3 laps around the field and then into the showers. Hey, Harris. Hey, you're quite a pitcher.
Thank you, sir.
Listen, we can use you around here. Take your laps around the field and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach.
And Harris, take care of that arm of yours.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Okay, Monty. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, Monty,
Oh, hi, Mr. Dixon.
can I talk to you a minute?
I gotta take my laps.
Monty, you can't play baseball.
What did you say?
I said you're ineligible to play baseball here at Whitman.
Not eligible? What do you mean? You saw me out there. The coach said...
It's a matter of athletic regulations. 18 is the top age for high school athletics, unless a kid turns 19 after the season starts.
But my birthday was just a couple of months ago. This is crazy.
I know you're disappointed, but you are ineligible and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, there's gotta be. It isn't fair.
It may not be what you want, but it is fair. You know that.
I don't know that. You don't know that either. You know how much I've looked forward to coming back and making this team and being somebody that people can look up to? When I was in the service, I dreamed about coming back to Whitman and making up for the years that I was a nobody. For the first time in my life, I'm getting something I want. And you're telling me I can't have it.
That's right. Like a lot of people can't have what they want. Monty, when you were in high school, you wanted to be a big shot, right? And you didn't make it. So you thought you'd give it a second try, only this time with an edge.
What do you mean?
You're older, more experienced, a lot stronger than any of the kids here. Monty, you're a man. Now, don't you think it's about time you started acting like one? Yesterday is gone forever. You got a whole new life ahead of you. A lot of new challenges. Who knows, you might find out that being a big shot is not so important after all.
He's right, Monty. Don't you think you ought to grow up?
Look, leave me alone, will you?
All right, Monty, but first, I want to tell you something. You've been so busy trying to make the whole world think you're so darned important that you've turned your back on the one person around here who really does think that you're important. Me, Valerie Henderson. And if that's not good enough for you, well, then why don't you just re-enlist or re-up or whatever they call it? Or at least go take a shower and drown yourself.
Well, Monty, if leaving Whitman is what you want, I guess you know what you're doing.
Yes, sir, I do.
You think you ought to, think about it a little longer?
It wouldn't change anything.
Are you, quitting because you can't play baseball?
Yeah, in a way. See, it's like Mr. Dixon said. I came back here trying to relive yesterday. Well, yesterday's gone forever. I don't belong here anymore. I've got today and tomorrow to think about. Anyway, that's why I'm quitting.
No, I can certainly understand why you feel you have to, leave Whitman, but I'd like to see you continue your education someplace else, like adult night extension courses.
Well, I've already enrolled.
Oh, you have?
Sure. Now I'll be going to school with kids my own age.
And older. You know, some of those kids are considerably older. Well, good. I'm pleased.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Bugsy, come back visit us sometime.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You really think it's impossible to recapture the past?
Well, that depends on what you're trying to recapture. Why?
Well, you know, when I was in college, I was a pretty fair long-distance runner. Not great, but steady, you know. And lately, ever since I've been jogging with Ken Dragan every morning, a lot of my stamina has come back. Now, over in West Baldwin next month, they're holding a cross-country race. Now, wait a minute. Now, just a minute. It's a cross-country race. I just thought... Will you just let me explain? I don't expect to win it, but last year a man 5 years older than me finished the race. You don't think so? I don't think so either.
Come on, hustle. All right. Okay. Come on now, let's go.
Yep, the team is really rounding into shape. Boy, it's amazing what a couple of weeks of hard practice can do.
Do you think we have a chance at the division championship?
Well, it all depends on, one, whether we can come up with a consistent left-hander, and two, whether our speed will make up for our lack of power.
We're not too powerful, huh?
Not enough long ball hitters, Liz.
Guess we'll have to play a lot of hit and run, huh?
Right, Pete. Bunt, steal, hit behind the runner. You know, the kind of club that makes its own breaks.
I don't agree, Miss Johnson. Ed Waters and Juan Fernandez both hit the long ball. And once Jerry Martin learns to wait for his pitch, he'll be able to give the ball a good ride also. Oh, excuse me, I'm meeting somebody.
Valerie, where... I was going to ask her where she learned so much about baseball.
Come on, Ed! You can do better than that! Come on, relax those shoulders. Give it a nice level cut. Come on, you can do it! Be a hitter up there, Ed, boy! Be a hitter! Be a hitter! Gosh, you just can't relax.
Foxy lady.
Forgive me if I repeat myself, Miss Brown, but it's good to see you back.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Pete, I just have to disagree with you. The Minnesota multiphaser clearly shows that Arnie Rothman basically has a stable personality.
Liz, you see a bunch of numbers on paper, right? Well, I see a kid in class who never stops scratching.
Now, Arnie is nervous, but the boy I tested is not emotionally disturbed.
The boy in my class is.
Well, the boy and me would like his breakfast, so if you two don't mind, I will now put in my 2 cents.
That's why we're here.
Now, I've gone over his records. I agree with you. We should schedule him with our visiting psychologist whenever that learned gentleman chooses to make himself available. I think we should keep a close eye on him, but I think we should give it a month before we schedule any special schooling. Now, does that make everybody happy, or you want to fight some more?
Fight?
Who's fighting?
Good. I believe in less fighting and more reading. I'll be in the cafeteria. That's what I say. I'll be right here. Come in.
Hello, Mr. Kaufman. Am I disturbing you?
No, not a bit. But come in, Miss Brown. You look great.
Thank you.
You're just in time to meet your department head, Pete Dixon. Diana Brown.
How do you do?
Hello,
Miss
Mr. Dixon.
McIntyre, Diana Brown.
Hi, how are you? Well, I just dropped by to say hello.
Good.
See you later.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Miss
Thank you.
Brown. You know something? That young woman was one of the most exciting teachers we ever had in this school.
Why'd she leave?
The usual, to get married, of course.
Oh, then it's Mrs. Brown.
Not exactly. She's going through a divorce right now.
Oh.
She's going to be taking over Mrs. Goodman's social science class while she's on maternity leave.
Oh, that's the one. I don't know where I got the idea she was a lot older.
So we see that organized labor faced stiff opposition in its early efforts to win reform. Now, let's list a few of the methods that management used to resist. Blacklist, yellow door contracts.
Foxy. Quiet, man. You interfering with my concentration.
Lockout. Now, the gentleman that thinks I'm foxy. What is a yellow dog contract?
She got you there, brother.
I didn't read that page last night. Did anyone? Helen.
A yellow dog contract was a written agreement that a worker had to sign when he went for a job, promising he wouldn't join a union.
Very good. You see, those people must have really been in a bind. Yes? Suppose you were the sole support of a large family, and the only way that you could feed your kids was to sign a contract that would make you look like a fink to your friends. How would you feel?
I don't know.
Well, you do have feelings, don't you? Or is that optional equipment in your case?
Hey, my man Bernie figures he's got 2 eyes, 2 ears. He's ahead of the game.
Okay, Big Daddy, stand up. Let's see how you stack up. No, I mean it. Come on, stand up. We're going to have a little psychodrama. Larry, go to my desk. You too. The year is 1910. You are a foreman in a steel mill. You have strict orders to issue no union contracts. Jason, you're a European immigrant with 6 kids.
Ooh, don't tell my mama she ain't ready for that.
I'm grading on this little exercise, folks. Okay, Jason, you need a job? Go to it.
What do you want me to do?
You don't know? You lost the job. Sit down. Pam, would you like to try?
Okay. I understand you need some steel workers.
Yeah? You got experience?
Oh, yeah. I've worked in the steel mills all over.
Well, that's cool. You got the job.
Ask about the union.
Okay, Larry, back to the bread lines for you. What's your name?
Arnie Rothman.
It's funny. According to my seating chart, you're Sylvia Bernstein.
Sylvia moved.
Oh, excuse me, Sylvia moved. Would you like to be foreman? Heather?
I see here that you're experienced. Did you ever belong to a union?
Oh, no, sir.
Oh, good. Then if you want to work here, you have to sign this paper.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, what do you think of that, workers?
Big! Don't sign it.
What do you mean, don't sign? What are my kids supposed to eat? Pride?
Okay, thank you very much, girls. Reach after 10 tonight. See you tomorrow. Oh, I appreciate your cooperation, girls. Thanks again.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Boy, are you really on a diet today?
Would anyone care to discuss the weather?
Not me. I want to talk about Miss Brown like everybody else. Boy, she sure is good looking. You know, if I were 5 years older, I'd really be jealous. Well, better get my lunch. Toodles.
Helen, near perfect as usual. Pam, I like the way you phrase things. Jason, buy a dictionary. Bernie, you and Jason must have learned how to spell out of the same comic book. Arnie, what can I say to you about this assignment? I mean, where do I begin? Spelling, punctuation, grammar are abominable. Research, non-existent. Try it again, Arnie. I won't even grade you on that. I mean, I can't. The alphabet doesn't go that low.
Okay, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be discussing some contemporary American problems.
Women.
Okay. Starting tomorrow, we'll discuss women as a contemporary problem.
Well, Mr. Dixon, I don't think that women are the problem. I think it's men understanding where we are instead of where they want us to be.
Okay, Pam. Then you research the changing role of women. Anybody else?
How about the effects of desegregation?
Okay, that's good. That'll be your assignment tomorrow. Well, anybody else? Seem to be having a ladies' day here today. Bernie, nothing from you? Arnie? Okay, see what you can come up with tomorrow. Jason, can I see you a minute? What's going on?
That new teacher, Miss Brown.
What about her?
She's one mean, hard-nosed lady. She's got it in for us, Mr. Dixon.
Us?
The fellas. And her class is a drag.
I don't know how or why, but she's demoralizing the boys.
Pete, that just doesn't sound like Diana. Are you sure it's her fault?
I haven't seen it for myself. But she teaches the class before mine, and the boys are coming in like a bunch of whipped puppies.
Look, Pete, you know, I suspect Diana's been through a pretty rough time. I understand that divorce of hers was pretty messy. Why don't we be a little patient with her? Give her time to make some adjustments.
I'm sorry, but the classroom is not a place for a teacher to work out her personal problems.
I agree. Well, let me tell you something. I have sat behind that desk and watched a lot of teachers come in and out of this place. Some are better than others, but you very rarely get a great one. Diana was a great teacher. I want to keep her here.
What if she isn't a great teacher anymore?
Pete, I'm asking for your cooperation. Let's give her a little time.
Okay.
What do you mean you forgot your hall pass? You never had one to begin with, Arnie. We both know it. You were trying to sneak out.
I don't feel good. I want to go home.
Oh, be my guest, Mama's boy. But first of all, you march yourself down to the attendance office and get an excuse slip like everyone else has to.
Arnie? Do you think you were being a little rough on him?
This isn't a nursery school, Mr. Dixon. And Arnie does graduate in a year. It's about time he shaped up.
Okay. But all of our kids don't have the same levels of maturity, especially Arnie. So ease up, Miss Brown. And that goes for the rest of the boys you've been writing, too.
You're the head of the department, Mr. Dixon. But I didn't know that Whitman was giving out diplomas in spinelessness this year.
I think we should have a talk about your attitude.
And I think we should have a talk about yours, Mr. Dixon. I mean, it's really terrific the way you get down with your kids. The only trouble is when someone makes some real demands upon them, they don't know how to behave. I mean, your self-indulgent little schoolboys get all shook up when a mean lady teacher tries to make them behave like men. And you know why? Because Mr. Dixon doesn't talk to them that way. Because Mr. Dixon is their chum.
Are you finished?
What's price popularity?
Peter, dinner's getting cold.
Incredible.
Pete, you should have told me you didn't like Italian food.
Liz, do you realize what I'm stuck with? She decimates Arnie, she tears Jason down along with the rest of the boys, and I am supposed to help Mr. Kaufman keep her in school.
Pete, it isn't every night that I make gnocchi alla Genovese. In fact, it isn't every night I can pronounce it. Now, will you please eat? Good?
Mr. Kaufman?
Pete, I'm on to something.
Yeah, me too. How much time do you plan on giving Miss Brown?
Before what?
Before you or I deal with her behavior.
Good morning, Mr. Kaufman.
Good morning, Miss Brown. Pete, about what we were just saying, there's no time like the present. I will not believe that two good people cannot work out their problems. Folks, I have to run along. Have a good day.
Okay. I have it coming. Yell back at me.
I don't intend to yell. I do want to tell you something. I have a feeling that some doctor told you that by going back to work, it would be good therapy for you. Well, it might be good for you, but it is a disaster for everyone else you come in contact with.
I was prepared for yelling. I didn't know we were getting into karate.
You are destroying the morale of my boys. And in the case of Arnie Rothman, you might be doing some very serious damage. Now, maybe you got so burned by one man that you decided to take revenge on the rest. Okay, that's your problem. Except now the targets aren't men, they're boys. And they shouldn't have to deal with your hang-up. Knock it off, Miss Brown.
You know everything about shoes, and I need your opinion.
Okay, but you're gonna buy what you want to anyway.
Well,
Oh, Mr. Dixon, could I talk to you for just a minute?
Sure.
I'll wait for you outside.
I was up half the night thinking about what you said. You were right. You know, you really blew my mind yesterday. It's been a long time since anyone has cared about what I was doing or had the courage to take a position. You know, we're raised on Snow White and Prince Charming, but no one ever tells you how much a man and a woman can hurt each other.
Sometimes reality can be a shock.
I didn't realize I was dumping my feelings on the boys.
Maybe you didn't. But I had to tell you about it before I went too far.
Thanks for yelling at me. That's all I really wanted to say.
See you tomorrow?
You bet.
Good morning.
Oh, hi. Hey, did you get a notice about the rise in the group insurance rates?
I hope not, but I didn't look yet.
I think they're trying to tell us something.
Oh, Pete, I got hold of a book last night with the most incredible political concepts. I got so excited about it, I tried to call you, but...
Well, I have a class on Wednesdays.
I'd like to talk to you about it. I mean, I want to use it right away. I'll walk you to your class. Arnie, my boy, I begin to see a glimmer of hope. This paper was done by a student that cares.
Well, who do you get to do it for him?
We'll get to your problem in a minute, Bernie.
Hi.
How?
I called you last night.
You did?
Liz. What's wrong?
Nothing. I mean, I don't care if half the school thinks there's something going on between you and Diana Brown. I know better.
Well, if you know better, then why the freeze?
And if I'm uncomfortable because of the way it looks to other people, I guess that's just my problem, huh?
Well, it's your problem. It's mine, too.
Hi. What? One of these days you're going to qualify for the Magician's logo. I don't know what you said to Diana Brown, but whatever it was perfect. Jason's walking around the hall smiling from wrist to wrist, and that boy, what's his name, Arnie Rothman, he's hardly scratching at all anymore. It's fantastic. I told you, it'd just be a matter of time before you two were good friends. Diana was always one of the most loving people you ever want to meet. Does anybody hear a very large silence?
Pass the pepper, please.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, has anyone seen Miss Brown today? She's absolutely radiant, all lit up from inside. You know what I think? I think Miss Brown's in love. She has all the signs. She's blooming.
Excuse me.
What's going on?
Liz, wait a minute.
What?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, if it's so ridiculous, why don't you clear it up?
Because there's nothing to clear up.
Well, yes, there is, Pete. Or can't you see it? Or maybe you're so flattered by the whole thing, you just don't want to see it.
Oh, Pete, listen, friend, you're pretty good in the truth department. Would you shine a little light on me?
If I can.
Do you think I'm in love with you?
No. Why?
Funny. I was beginning to think I was.
But you've only known me 5 days.
Yes, I know, but I haven't exactly been operating out of logic, have I? And I don't think now is the time for me to be in teaching.
Well, you may be right, but have you given it a lot of thought?
This is a test paper that I can't return to the student because I was doodling over it all day in class, like a teenager. I think you should see it. I'm too good a teacher to be as bad as I've been this week.
Diane, you're very sure about this?
Very. But at the spot here next year, I'll come back if you want me.
We want you. How about now? Well, good luck, Ms. Brown.
So you're going to do it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Come back.
When I'm ready.
You were right.
About what? Mrs. Pete Dixon. Diana Dixon. Mrs. Diana Brown Dixon. Boy, she was really getting carried away.
Liz.
I mean, of all the nerve. And in just 1 week.
Liz.
Oh, oops. I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry for most of the things that have happened today. But, on the other hand, by the looks of you two, looks like everything's okay. So, I'll just get out.
And so after 33 years of labor, Simon Rodilla had completed the towers in Watts. He built them mainly of discarded materials, junk, and rubbish. In other photos we have, if you look closely, you can actually see bits of broken glass, bottle tops, and pieces of miscellaneous metal.
Bet you my mother could build 2 of those if she cleaned my room.
It's very good, Pam. Some of the best work to come out of the photography club.
That's the last you see, too. Every time the students get something good going, the school board shuts it down.
Let's be fair, Jason. When the bond issue failed, a lot of the extracurricular activities were cut. And the photography club just happened to be one of them.
Yeah, and the science club and after-school sports just happened to be number 2 and 3. All kids stuff.
Yeah, when it came to tightening belts, you didn't see none of the fat cats of the establishment doing it.
Jason, I admit there have been cutbacks up and down the line. But the school administration is doing the best that it can on a short budget.
Hey, Mr. Dixon, what if you went to Mr. Kaufman's office and got him to open up all the doors? Then we could really find out what's going on behind the scenes.
What do you think, Jack? I mean, there's no way Kaufman gonna do that.
All the kids want to do is ask a few questions about costs, supplies, procedures, and things like that. Well, what do you think?
Look, okay, but tell them to use a little judgment. Some of the teachers around here aren't going to be exactly thrilled about this.
They know. All right, Larry. Talk to Mr. Kaufman.
No chance, huh?
Would you like to hear what he said?
I'll tell you what he said. He said, tell those kids to keep their noses in their books and not in my business.
No, that's not what he said.
Oh, he's sure. He probably sugarcoated with a bunch of $5 words.
Larry, he said okay.
Yeah, he said, I'd like to. Jiving me.
No, you can start tomorrow.
Some stuff.
Look, I don't mind them investigating my department. Who knows? I might even learn something.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Oh, how'd Larry feel about the good news?
Oh, he was pleased, but not surprised. He knew you'd come through.
It's revolutionary, Mr. Kaufman. I mean, you're going to be known throughout the entire school system as Mr. Clean.
You know, I felt so positive about my decision a minute ago.
Alice, you could have talked John Hancock out of signing the Declaration of Independence.
All right, you guys, cool it down now. Now, Jason and Pam were in Mr. Kaufman's office, and Bernie and Jackson in woodshop, and I'll talk to Miss Beamer in the cafeteria. Now, who wants to zero in on old Dragon in the English department?
Hey, let me take a shot at him. I got a score to settle with him after that Shakespeare exam.
Wait a minute now. Let's not turn this thing into a revenge trip. If you want Dragon, you gotta act like you never met him before.
Well, okay.
Go get him, Frank. Okay, that does it. Dixon's Raiders are at full strength.
Dixon's what? Dixon's Raiders. You dig, like Nathan's Raiders. Our little leader thought that up.
All right. Larry's laid down all of the basic ground rules. Now, all I ask is that you try to be fair, observant, and courteous.
Plus your liquid paste, envelopes, tablets.
What's this, Mrs. Green?
Please don't touch things. I'll get it for you. This is carbon paper.
Do you use a lot of it?
Yes, an awful lot.
How much does it cost?
I'll have to check my price list. Let's see. Here it is. $3.15 a box.
Oh, Mrs. Wheeler, can I see you a minute, please?
Of course, Mr. Kaufman. Don't touch things, please.
What are they asking you out there?
You name it, they've asked it.
Do they want to see me?
They haven't mentioned it yet. Should I find out?
Well, I know. I tell you what, let them relax. Let's get some work done. I got some memos for you.
I hate to make a fuss, but I find this whole thing very upsetting.
Upsetting? If you ask me, we're all being subjected to Gestapo tactics. And I'm not sitting still for this. Are you, Gerard?
Oh, no. Absolutely not, Mr. Dragan.
There's little enough dignity left in the teaching profession.
Oh, how well I know.
Now, if we all go into this as a group, we can stop this childish investigation before it goes any further.
You're right. I mean, look at the name they've chosen. Dixon's Raiders. Obviously meant to agitate. Don't you agree, Miss Johnson?
No, I don't think so.
You don't? You don't think so?
No, I think the name's all in fun. Besides, from what I hear, the kids have made some pretty good suggestions.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Go ahead, Jason. This is the first report on Room 222, Dixon's Raiders. Location, school supply office. Official in charge, Mrs. Emily Willer. Our study team found said, office run efficient and free from influence of any special interest group. However, certain ways of buying things can be improved. Item, typewriter ribbon. You've been using red and black ribbons, you dig? You don't hardly use the red part, so buy all black ribbons and get twice the use for the same bread.
Could you do without the red?
Well, I suppose so.
Item, carbon paper.
Now, I defy them to find a carbon paper cheaper than the one I use.
Oh, you're right. But in this case, we checked with business offices. They tell us it's better to use the expensive carbon paper. With that cheap stuff, you get 2 or 3 uses, right? With the expensive stuff, you can use it 16, 18 times.
I'll look into it.
Item, ICL copying machine. For most school needs, you can get it on with the next smaller model, saving about...
Well, that's it. Why don't we break for lunch and come back right after, okay?
Very good job.
I'm impressed.
So am I.
That kills that can. I'll get some more out of the storage room.
I just checked. We're out of it. No more mayonnaise either.
What do you mean? There was just 6 cans in there the other day.
Yeah, I know. The kids must be drinking it.
Something.
Ken, I understand you didn't exactly open up your heart to our little investigating team.
Mr. Coppin, let's not mince words. I ordered them out of my office. The point is, I will not submit myself to Mr. Dixon's version of Ralph Naderism. It's an insult to every department head in the school.
Look, Mr. Dragan, I didn't start that study to alienate department heads. In fact, I didn't start the study at all. It was my students' idea. I think it happens to be a very good one.
Now, Ken, you've got to admit that the students have conducted themselves very professionally. What's more important, they've gotten some results.
In that case, you should be satisfied. Really, Mr. Kaufman, how much longer is this nonsense going to go on?
Look, the kids are involved. And it would be unfair to stop them now just when they're really getting enthused.
I agree.
I see. Then you'd have no objection to my taking this grievance to the school board, would you?
Oh, no. Although it's not really necessary. Most of the members of the school board already know about the saga of Dixon's Raiders. Do you know that 3 of the members of the school board have already called me to express their enthusiasm?
Well, since the lunatics have already taken over the asylum, who am I to oppose them?
Oh, Larry, got some good news for you.
I want to talk to you, Mr. Dixon. I got something to tell you.
Well, what is it?
I want to call an investigation off.
You're kidding.
No, I don't want to do it anymore.
Why, Larry?
Because it turned out to be a lousy idea, that's all.
Then, after checking with the lumber company, we found out that knotty pine costs half as much as the #1 grade fir he's been using in the wood shop, which is an annual savings of a mere $240.
Hey, that's incredible.
Yeah, but he's still fighting me, though, see? He says knotty pine doesn't look as good or isn't as versatile as fir. That's when I unveil the clincher that me and Jackson built.
A knotty pine guitar?
Naturally.
Glenn Campbell, eat your heart out. Dixon's Raiders rode to town, asking what's the story. Turned Walt Whitman upside down. The rest is pretty gory.
Excuse me a minute. Larry? Where's the report on the cafeteria?
Oh, I haven't written it up yet. But no problem. It checked out okay.
Hey, let me ask you something. What's bothering you?
Nothing. Honestly, Mr. Dixon.
It's about Mrs. Beamer, isn't it?
Why do you say that?
Well, I can add 2 and 2. You're covering her department. You like her. Then suddenly you just drop the investigation. Did you find something wrong?
There are some shortages, Mr. Dixon.
Do you think she's responsible?
I just can't figure it out. It just doesn't look like something she would do.
Well, don't you think you owe it to yourself and to her to find out the truth?
Yeah.
Honestly, Larry, you make me feel guilty.
Why's that?
You're always the first one to arrive and last one to leave.
Oh.
How's your project coming?
Okay.
Are you getting all the information you need?
Well, if you have a minute, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the food ordering procedure in the cafeteria.
Oh, I have to be a Tyler by 2. But you know where my books are, on top of my desk. Everything's in there.
Well, that's all right. I'll wait till tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's Friday. You know how busy we are. Why didn't you do it today? Get it over with. Hope you can read my handwriting. Oh, lock up for me, will you, honey?
Sure. Bye.
Yes. Oh, my jury's arrived. Very well, come in. Oh, don't dawdle now. I'm very busy. Well, what is it today? More questions?
Oh, no, sir. Our investigation team's finished its report.
I guess you and Mr. Dixon had quite a good laugh at my deficiencies.
No, Mr. Dragan. We thought you should see the report first.
It's that bad, huh? Report on English Department Head Mr. Kenneth Dragan. We found this department to be excellent in every way. There are 2 L's in excellent. The selection of books, the presentation of subject materials, and teaching methods are all first rate. Thank you.
We did have one suggestion, Mr. Dragan.
Oh?
Yes, Bonnie and I thought it would be fun to have a Shakespeare day at Walt Whitman.
You thought it might be fun? Young man, it takes all of my efforts and then some to coax just a little English literature into your heads. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for the report. You know, I've got work to do. Oh, you might as well leave that Shakespeare business as long as you've done it. Now, that's something I've always stood for, letting the students find things out for themselves, as long as they do it with a sense of fair play. Oh, of course. You take that Shakespeare Day idea that we worked out together. There's a good example of what can develop. And Larry?
Can I talk to you?
Sure. Well, excuse me, Mr. Dragan. What's up?
I told you I'd come back with my report no matter what I found.
Well, how's it look?
Awful.
How awful?
Plenty. For one thing, the amounts of food she's been ordering just don't check out with the little bit we've been using.
Maybe there's some waste.
Not 90% waste. Anyway, the big kicker is the payroll. She's been drawing extra money for jobs students have been doing, and all we get paid is free lunches.
Is there any chance you could be wrong?
No chance.
Well, there's only one thing we can do.
I'm not turning Miss Beamer in.
I'm not asking you to. You got the facts, and we're just going to have to confront her with them.
Hi, Larry. Mr. Dixon?
Oh, Mrs. Beamer. Can we talk to you for a second?
Sure. But if it's about today's meatloaf, I already know. Had too much garlic.
No, Mrs. Beamer, it's not about the meatloaf. Larry here has something he wants to say to you.
What is it, Larry?
Miss Beamer, I feel real bad.
Go ahead, honey. It's all right.
Well, it's about the investigation. I hope I'm wrong, but it looks like things just don't check out in the payroll ledger.
Oh. So you went through the payroll ledger, too?
Sorry.
It's all right, Larry. I suppose I always left it out because I wanted to get caught. This is Mrs. Beamer. Would you ask Mr. Kaufman to come down to my office right away, please?
Hello. What's going on?
Mr. Kaufman, I've been dishonest with you. With everyone.
What do you mean?
Well, Larry's done a very good job in his investigation. He's found a misallocation of funds in my books. It's too late to return the money. It's been spent. You'll find everything accounted for in here.
Tyler High School lunch fund? I don't understand.
When I came to this district, my job was clearly defined. Plan lunches for 2 schools, Walt Whitman and Tyler. Sounds like a simple enough job for a trained dietitian. Well, planning lunches for Tyler was not so simple. It's in the center of a poverty area. Lunch for those kids is sometimes the only nourishing, well-balanced meal they can count on each day. So I began playing favorites. If I found extra money in Whitman's budget, I spent it at Tyler. I gave them larger salads and hamburgers like this. And the 45-cent blue plate luncheon, well, you couldn't touch it in a restaurant for $1.50. So that's what happened.
It's irregular.
Mr. Kaufman, always the diplomat. Naturally, I'll resign. Just give me a couple of days to get things in order.
Well, it looks like our good intentions didn't turn out so well, huh?
I guess not. We all thought it was such a good idea.
Yeah, but you know what really concerns me? That we lost Miss Beamer. Those kids are really gonna feel bad when they find out.
Poor Larry looks miserable.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but some of the children insist on seeing you.
Mr. Kaufman, we have it all figured out.
One at a time.
We have a way of keeping the Tyler lunch program going.
The new Tyler Lunch Program Subcommittee, known as Beamer's Redeemers, have found a practical solution to the problem.
Item. Dixon's Raiders investigation have figured out a total savings of $950.
The end result being, instead of spending the money to bring back the photo club and after-school sports, why not give it to Miss Beamer for Tyler?
Well, that's a good start.
You kids are willing to take the money from your own activities for the Tyler Lunch Fund? That's very generous. I'm very proud of you. Look, we've got some other factors to discuss right now. Why don't you wait? We'll get back to you as soon as we can, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be around if you need it.
All right.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
What do you mean, other factors?
Well, moral factors. I mean, Mrs. Beamer was falsifying those books.
You mean like robbing Peter to feed Paul?
Whatever you want to call it, the fact remains she was disregarding school regulations. Now, the way I look at it, I've got 2 choices. Either I go to the school board, or I don't go to the school board.
Mr. Kaufman, which choice are you going to choose?
Item. What do you think?
With the savings the kids turned up, there should be enough left to finance your lunch program.
Tonight I can keep everything out in the open. No more secret ledgers, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
It's my pleasure. Oh, there's just one thing.
Yes?
You know, the meatloaf today. Didn't it seem to you it was a little short on garlic? I mean, remember, Mrs. Beamer, it's vampires that are afraid of garlic, not high school principals. Think garlic.
Oh, Miss Kaufman. I just want to say that Dixon's Raiders appreciate, the way you handle things. Not going straight down the road with the rule book.
Well, I stayed within the regulations. I felt that certain things were within my jurisdiction to decide, so I decided, but I didn't actually break the rules.
Well, we like the way you bend them, because that old rule book ain't never going to be quite the same.